It's the 20th straight week in a row that unemployment's is heading backwards. More than 1 million people joining those queues for help. It's just extraordinary. It doesn't end. You can't see it really ending anytime soon, can you?
Well, it's the 20th straight week, but if you look today, it was down from last week, and it was below what consensus expectations were. It was just about 1.18 million today, and continuing claims, meaning repeats, seem to be down also. That is why the stock market in the U.S. rebounded so much today, is because actually, even though it's the 20th straight week of above 1 million, it is trending in the right way, and it looks like the economy is not really, in the U.S. at least, really backsliding.
This spending package, when are you expecting that one to emerge, the one that's coming through Congress?
Who knows? Politicians right now on both sides are posturing in Washington. The Republicans are saying, hey, if there's a deal to be had, we're going to have it by Friday, which is tomorrow, our time, Saturday, your time. If there's a deal to be had. But there may not be a deal to be had. The Democrats may be calculating that the Republicans will have to cave because it's an election year with Trump at the top of the ballot. And Republicans may be now drawing some heart from some of these macroeconomic numbers and the jobless numbers today, saying that, hey, maybe we don't need this type of stimulus as much as we thought. That, and President Trump is pledged through executive action to provide some mitigation measures like moratoriums on evictions and so forth. And there may be some needed without Democrat help. And it may be, since Republicans have offered to continue the unemployment insurance, so pending negotiations, Democrats have refused that. Republicans may be making the calculation that the Democrats will lose politically.
When you come to the vaccine as well, President Trump out there this morning suggesting that he hopes that there'll be a vaccine by the end of the year. A lot of people aren't so sure about that. Even Dr Fauci was suggesting probably towards the start of next year, maybe even deep into next year. What's your opinion on that?
Well, there are multiple vaccines in trials right now. You have the Moderna vaccine, which is already in stage 3 clinical trials. The U.S. has already purchased 100 million lots of several of the more promising candidates. Dr. Fauci has been wrong more than, remember, Dr. Fauci was saying this was not going to transmit person to person, and he said a lot of things that turned out to be wrong, as has President Trump, to be honest. So it's difficult. So neither man has a particularly great track record in terms of predicting the course of the coronavirus and events surrounding its mitigation. But we do have some numerous vaccines in the pipeline, and some of them, even by Dr. Fauci's admission, may be ready for approval by October. And remember that manufacturing is happening while they're in approval. So it's not like there has to be a separate spin-up time after approval. So it may be October, it may be November, but remember the U.S. election is November 3rd.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I didn't know that. That's an interesting point. So basically, you've got stockpiles that will be ready to go if the vaccine is approved. It's not like once the testing is approved, then you've got to go and manufacture it for the world.
Exactly. Operation Warpspeed, which is President Trump's initiative. As a Star Trek fan, I can relate to that, but not many other people do. It was the companies were going to actually start to manufacture what's called at risk. That normally, medicines are made after they're produced, so because it works. But in this case, the U.S. government has subsidized the manufacturing in the tens to hundreds of millions of doses while testing is happening, so that when one or more are ready, doses are ready for distribution. So that's why there won't be that lag between final approval and distribution.